Hi, welcome back to our course on line of business application development for the Universal Windows Platform. In this section, we're going to touch on integration with email, Skype, Cortana, and other kinds of things that you might want to integrate into your Universal Windows Platform applications. The first sample inside this section is really the Contosa support app, which is about Skype calls, Skype chat, and email. There's 3 support areas in terms of the Skype APIs: billing, warranty, and general. And if you follow the directions in the samples that are provided, you can see the code that does these different elements in terms of working with the Skype API. If you look at the structure for this project, there is the sample, the UI components, which is of the application itself. Then there is the voice command service or Cortana that we're talking about, as well as common support areas and services. And you can see how those different elements work together. Now, in terms of those common features, you might pay close attention to the data trigger behavior to enable buttons after an area has been selected. So a behavior is something similar to a command, but it's usually data bound specifically to UI components, and it's actually something that originally came out of the Blend team, but it's implemented slightly differently in terms of the actual class itself as opposed to a command, even though they're very similar. The other demo is the email integration. So this is being able to integrate with email in the Universal Windows Platform, whether it's sending email or with Outlook. And then the Cortana integration, which with the Cortana integration, we have this, the key element in the sample is really that voice command definition XML. It shows the commands that are grouped into language specific command sets, the commands that are able to call into an app or use a Cortana UI to communicate. This needs to be registered upon app start, and then there's a phrase list that could be modified in runtime, which is not shown. But keep in mind that that ability is in that system. In addition to that, if you're using the Cortana UI, a Windows runtime component must be created. All the classes must be sealed with a class implementing an interface called iBackgroundTask. This uses deferrals to indicate the end of processing, provide answers within 0.5 seconds if not done yet, and then you need to register in the app package.app manifest of the main application. And you can see all that in the sample. Some tips for debugging and troubleshooting with Cortana. The voice command definition is very tricky. Watch for exceptions during the registration to catch errors. So in your program itself, you'll want to catch those errors so you can figure out if there's a problem and deal with it in different ways. You'll want to make sure you verify proper registration by using the help section of Cortana. If things seem wonky, stop the Cortana process. It will restart automatically, so don't worry about that. Make sure to use deferrals properly and give feedback within that time frame of 0.5 seconds. So that's only a half a second. If it takes longer than that, that can cause problems. Use the do not launch but debug my code when it starts in your startup project and place breakpoints in the background task. And that way you can catch those and kind of walk through the process. So with that, work through those 3 samples. The directions are fairly detailed. You should be able to get through it and look at the sample code that's been provided. And then you can start using Cortana and Skype and email inside the context of your Universal Windows Platform applications.